Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Well, it's another day and another theory as to why Tucker Carlson and Fox went their separate ways. Several weeks ago, according to this article, as Fox News lawyers prepared for the courtroom showdown with Dominion voting systems, they presented Tucker with what they thought was good news. They had persuaded the court to redact from a legal filing the time he called a senior Fox News executive the C word. However, Tucker wasn't impressed. He told his colleagues that he wanted the world to know what he said about the executive in a private message. He said comments he made about former President Donald Trump, "I hate him passionately." Wow, really? Did he?
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that.
You've
quote.
seen that?
Yeah.
"I hate him passionately."
Yeah, I think that came out because of this, what you're reading, yeah.
Yeah, he said that those were in court documents, and he said those in a momentary spasm of anger while his dislike of the executive at Fox was deep and enduring. So he was
awesome.
okay with that coming out. But, and so this article believes that maybe he just became to the Murdoch family more trouble than he was worth, which is hard to believe. He's worth a lot of trouble. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. In fact, I haven't independently verified these, but this thing came out last night that just says that last Tuesday's show with Tucker had 481,000 viewers. And this Tuesday's show had 149,000.
Is that in the demo?
In the this doesn't say. Yeah, it must be.
It's like
2554
3.2 million is what he averages.
Okay, so this 2554 demo.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah, this data is incomplete, but that number alone is a 69% drop.
Wow.
In audience in that.
Wow.
I don't have the.
I'm guessing it'll get worse than that too.
Yeah.
I don't know who they're going to put in there. I haven't heard any names thrown around, so be interesting to see. Plus, Tucker Carlson posted a message on social media last night, and here's what he had to say.
Good evening, it's Tucker Carlson. One of the first things you realize when you step outside the noise for a few days is how many genuinely nice people there are in this country. Kind and decent people who really care about what's true. And a bunch of hilarious people also, a lot of those. It's got to be the majority of the population, even now. So that's heartening. The other thing you notice when you take a little time off is how unbelievably stupid most of the debates you see on television are. They're completely irrelevant. They mean nothing. In 5 years, we won't even remember that we had them. Trust me, as someone who's participated. And yet at the same time, and this is the amazing thing, the undeniably big topics, the ones that will define our future, get virtually no discussion at all. War, civil liberties, emerging science, demographic change, corporate power, natural resources. When was the last time you heard a legitimate debate about any of those issues? It's been a long time. Debates like that are not permitted in American media. Both political parties and their donors have reached consensus on what benefits them, and they actively collude to shut down any conversation about it. Suddenly, the United States looks very much like a one-party state. That's a depressing realization, but it's not permanent. Our current orthodoxies won't last. They're brain dead. Nobody actually believes them. Hardly anyone's life is improved by them. This moment is too inherently ridiculous to continue, and so it won't. The people in charge know this. That's why they're hysterical and aggressive. They're afraid. They've given up persuasion. They're resorting to force. But it won't work. When honest people say what's true, calmly and without embarrassment, they become powerful. At the same time, the liars who've been trying to silence them shrink, and they become weaker. That's the iron law of the universe. True things prevail. Where can you still find Americans saying true things? There aren't many places left, but there are some, and that's enough. As long as you can hear the words, there is hope. See you soon.
And not a single bad word about Fox. That's interesting.
No, but I think there were some telegraphed messages in there about corporate.
Sure, but there's no...
No, you're right. It's not direct stuff.
I mean, that's a class act right there. That's a class act. I think he'd enjoy it here a lot.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Were he to come over.
Yeah. I offered him my parking spot last night on Twitter.
Oh, did you really? That's generous.
If he wants to take me up on that.
Generous.
Absolutely.
Mine's a little closer than Keith's, and you can have that one if you want. But
you can have them both.
Yeah, he's probably got multiple cars. All right. So
it's going to be, I mean, he's going to end up either somewhere else, obviously, or doing his own thing.
Yeah.
And I think that was pretty clear. He's like, see you soon. To tell you more truth that wasn't allowed. No, I'm sorry. Ad-libbing there. I think that he's got quite a bit left to say, and I look forward to hearing it.
Mm-hmm. Me too. A lot of people don't want to hear it. They're rejoicing over his demise at Fox. We showed you yesterday the Coven and how they celebrated. Another of the douchebags that's celebrating him leaving Fox is Keith Olbermann. But Megyn Kelly, who's a former colleague, obviously, of Tucker Carlson's, had this to say on her podcast to Keith Olbermann.
Even Keith Olbermann was saying similar things, comparing Tucker to a Nazi. He also, for good measure, decided to tweet about me because I said Tucker's going to be better off without Fox, and said something to the effect of, you got fired from Fox and NBC. What would you know about it? So first of all, you misstate the circumstances of my departure from NBC, sir. That's all I'm allowed to say about it. And as for Fox, there were widely reported facts that I was offered $100 million to stay there. But the record's very clear that I left voluntarily because I wanted to raise my family, something you don't know anything about, because no one would marry you and you have no children. You have a cold, lonely life in which you become a bitter, bitter man, something I wouldn't know anything about because my life is joyful and I've managed to raise my own children. And someday, I hope you have that pleasure, but I don't have high hopes it's going to happen.
That is awesome.
That's
epic. A beatdown.
Oh.
Yeah, that is great stuff. And I mean, how do you accuse her when everybody knows she left of her own free will? How do you accuse Megyn Kelly of being fired by Fox? Like, as if everybody who leaves Fox has been fired. It's just, it's ridiculous.
That little rant there is one of the best of all time.
Yeah, it was great.
In my opinion.
Really great.
Especially directed toward Keith Olbermann.
Yeah, he deserved it. If anybody does, he certainly did. Also, we got the president out speaking again. This is great because he's campaigning now for president. It's official that he's running.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
We can stop waiting.
We were worried about that, weren't we?
Oh.
Man, what if he doesn't run? Oh, man. Wouldn't that be tragic? And since he is running again, thought it might be a good time to revisit some of the racist things he said over the years. Just so Democrats know who it is they'd be voting for. And here's an update with some of the ones that he's had while he's been in office as president, too. There's several things.
Mm-hmm. I want to come to you and talk to you about inequality in schools and race.
Dark Brandon, unapologetically racist.
No doubt. Social workers into homes of parents to help them deal with how to raise their children. It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions,
Here we go.
The Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black. Sequestered in my home is because some black woman was able to stack the grocery shelf.
I'm like the token black or the token woman. I was the token young person.
They're going to put you all back in chains. I have great relationships with them because there's an awful lot of driving cabs.
They will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
And tried to reassign blame and said that I should apologize to him.
Corey should apologize. He knows better. Come on, man. Give me a break. You know better.
Come on, man, me.
He lied to voters, according to the New York Times, quoting aides of Biden's, about having marched in the civil rights movement.
I came out of the civil rights movement. I was one of those guys that sat in and marched and all that stuff. But I was not out marching. I was not down in Selma. I was not anywhere else.
There we
I happen to think that the one way to ensure that you set the civil rights movement in America further back is to continue to push busing. And I support the effort to curtail the ability of courts to bus. They're going to integrate people so that they all have the same access and they learn to grow up with one another and all the rest is a rejection of the whole movement of black pride.
Mazemore, nice job with that.
Don't forget this.
I mean, you got the first sort of mainstream African American who was articulate and bright and clean and a nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
It's a storybook, man.
Yep. It's a storybook, man. Oh, he's so bad.
Man. And then this.
We see a few.
No, not that.
In
This.
Delaware, the largest growth in population is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
He's not joking either. He's not joking. He wasn't joking then. He's not joking now. He never jokes. So.
Golly, he's been using that crutch forever.
Yeah, long time. One thing liberals are doing to defend Biden's age as he runs for president again is trying to point out that Biden is only 4 months older than Mick Jagger.
That's a
what?
Strange comparison.
That's weird.
Wait, didn't Mick Jagger, Jeffy and I were talking about this after the show yesterday, didn't he miss time from a tour for health issues?
I believe he did.
Yes, he did. So maybe you get a different example there.
But
this is fun. Look at this side by side. Look at that.
Oh, man.
I assume that's called dancing, what Mick Jagger is doing on stage, while Biden is trying to walk upstairs unsuccessfully.
Right. Oh, man.
So there's your comparison. There's your real comparison right there.
And besides, Mick Jagger's not running for president.
Thank you.
I wouldn't vote for him either as president of the United States.
Oh, my gosh. Do we have the cheat sheet he was holding yesterday at the White House during that event?
Embarrassing.
He's getting the questions ahead of time. Look at that. It's all capitalized on you and your.
Look at that. It's got the picture of the person he's supposed to call on, so hopefully he doesn't screw it up.
And that's her question. These journalists are okay with this.
And they're submitting it in advance so that they have time to prepare him for the answers.
No.
What good is that?
No. These journalists should be out in front of a camera saying,
amazing.
Well, the White House wanted us to, and I'm not going to participate in that, and I just wanted to tell you that.
If they had any integrity at all, that's what they'd do. But they don't.
No.
So, yesterday, Biden welcomed the president of South Korea to the White House. And, of course, it's going to make you proud.
Look at this walk.
As an American.
He's watching to look. Does he not know how to walk? He has to sit there and watch other people walk? Look, what is happening? He is out of it.
He looks terrible here.
Out of it, man.
Wow. He's really struggling.
Yeah.
And so, who was it that said he should swing his arms a little bit more?
Oh, the caller to C-SPAN.
It's really true.
Yeah, it is.
He should move his arms because they're stiff like this. Like I'm going to try to catch myself when I fall.
Yeah. I didn't send the video in, but the military guy standing there, I mean, he had to do like everything like, dear God, please go here, go here. And like the South Korean president, Yoon there, is like, he can't just go ahead of the president of the United States. He's got to wait for the old man to wake up and go, oh yeah, we do go there now. Oh, it was it's madness watching this guy.
Then he made some strange comment about nuclear weapons and his authority to use them.
This is weird.
And, the idea that I have absolute authority as commander-in-chief and the sole authority to use a nuclear weapon, but, What the declaration means is that we're going to make every effort to consult with our allies when it's appropriate, if any action is so called for.
What?
I think he's trying to
that's
say
bizarre.
that he'll talk to South Korea before they drop a nuke.
I guess. I guess that's just strange.
And he has to convince
bizarre.
himself that he has that authority. It's like, look, I have, as a commander. Oh, no, what's happening there?
My magic muffins
You good?
are done.
I mean, everything's okay, right?
Do you know there's a TV prep meeting coming up in just a few minutes here? So I'm glad that they notified me of that because I'm always involved with the TV prep meeting.
Oh, you got email and stuff on your phone now.
Yeah.
Good.
That's
you
great.
going to start using it more?
What?
Your phone? Like for email and stuff? In other words...
Oh, I told you, it won't accept my password for my email.
I'm just trying to slyly figure out the different ways that I'm able to communicate with you throughout the day.
Yeah, you can text. I definitely respond to text now. So I always have this. You see, I've always got it with me now.
Didn't respond to a text yesterday.
Oh, really? You texted me?
I did.
I don't have a text from you.
I wouldn't read it out loud. Man, what is it with... I believe you.
I do not have a text from you
there was
yesterday.
There was a big going on out here in the middle, and I was trying to make you aware of that.
Oh, okay.
You don't have it, huh?
What was the going on out here that they set up all the chairs for? Were they watching that new movie that's coming out?
No. We had a client here, and I wanted you to come out and say hi. And I was too tired to walk all the way across the hall to knock on your door.
Oh, okay.
So I was just like, here, text. And you didn't even get it.
No, I didn't. Bizarre.
Oh, well.
All right. Trying to sell your home can be a real challenge. You know that. We know that. Everybody knows that. That's why you need a really good realtor. And you don't need somebody who's like a friend of the family or somebody who, dabbles in it part-time, doesn't really know what they're doing. You need somebody who's really committed to this industry, committed to their job. That's who you get when you go with Real Estate Agents I Trust. When you have the kind of agents who work with us, working for you, you can rest assured that you're going to be in the hands of a capable team. These agents will see your selling process through from the day you interview them until the moment you sign on the dotted line. Same goes for buying a home. Either way, you're buying, you're selling. It's a huge investment. You need somebody who can get you through the entire process. And that's Real Estate Agents I Trust. realestateagentsitrust.com.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
But the president also made it clear yesterday that he's not stressing about China at all.
That's
good.
I honestly, I only had them pull this just because I think this will be a great drop to play for the rest of his time in office, which hopefully is just a few.
And when we're at war with China?
War with China, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not concerned about China.
I'm not concerned about China. You might want to be.
Yeah, really.
You know what he's concerned about China is China in Zelenskyy spilling all of his secrets. That's where he's concerned about China.
Did you see that Zelenskyy is blaming us for the war?
Wait a minute. Is this the guy that wanted to drop an assault on Moscow on February 24th?
Yes, that's the one. And we told him not to.
Wow.
Hey, how about you don't escalate this thing to that extent?
I'm done with this guy.
And, people might be saying, well, how can we tell them what to do and who to attack and when to attack? Well, it's our equipment. Yeah. I mean, the only way they're getting to Moscow with an attack is with our weapons. So we've got every right to tell them, no, I don't think you should be doing that.
And they weren't even going to tell us about that, by the way.
Right.
It was just us spying on them, just monitoring them. And we're like, could you not do what you're about to do?
Mm-hmm.
What?
We'd like this thing not to escalate completely out of control into a world war, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
But he said
proxy war's enough, right?
Yeah. He said the U.S. pursued a wrong nuclear policy that led to war in Europe. And while that may be true, maybe you keep your mouth shut about it since we're, supplying you with all the weapons you need to fend off the Russian invasion. Maybe you stop with the criticism of the United States of America, we have given them over $200 billion in cash and prizes. So I don't know. Maybe you don't criticize us while that's going on.
Yeah, rule number 1, don't criticize your sugar daddy.
Yeah. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Jeez, what an idiot. But we're supposed to practically worship at the altar of Volodymyr Zelenskyy. And if you don't, why are you for Putin? Why do you love Putin in Russia so much? Yeah, no, we don't. But neither are we necessarily in love with Zelenskyy, one of the most corrupt officials on the planet, with one of the most corrupt governments on the planet. And we just had that story either last week or the week before where they're on the take to the tune of about $400 million so far.
And I swear that's just scratches the surface.
Yeah, that's just a low estimate.
I think so.
So yesterday, Biden also decided to mention supply chain issues.
Okay, so, all right. I was going to let this go. I let this go 2 days ago, okay? When he was doing the union speech. I'm like, oh gosh, there's this stupid supply chain line again. But then when he used it back-to-back days yesterday, I thought, we've got to talk about this. This is don't jump now. This is Kevlar vests. The supply chain line that he uses and has used, and these are just a few examples. Here's what yesterday's. Let's see this one here.
For example, during the pandemic, what happened was all of a sudden everybody started to learn the phrase supply chain.
No, bro.
A year ago, no one knew what the hell everybody was talking about when he said supply chain.
No.
But now they all know.
Just because you learned something,
right? That doesn't mean the rest of us didn't know about the supply chain. Like we just learned about that 3 years ago.
I mean, this is embarrassing.
The worst.
It's embarrassing that he admits that he doesn't know what it is, and then the fact that it's something he thinks is so profound that he brings it up all the time. Let's go to 2 days ago.
Think how many people had no idea what the heck a supply chain was. No, I'm serious. You said 2.5 years ago, well, the supply chain. People look at, really bright people.
No.
Look at, well, guess what? Because of the pandemic, when factories shut down in Asia, they had no idea they were supplying essential material to us. Shut down around the world.
Who are these stupid people that were completely unaware of the term supply chain? Come on. My gosh. Wow. The worst. So,
got another example from March.
All right.
Same thing.
And this is it?
Yep.
But think about it. I wonder how many people talked about, quote, the supply chain before the pandemic.
I can't.
The quote.
Everybody knows what the supply chain is now.
Supply chain.
All right. Let's.
November of last year.
10 years ago, how many knew what the hell a supply chain was?
My gosh.
No, I'm serious.
No, I'm serious.
And then he throws
Same
that
thing
in.
every time. Same thing. Then he said something at Christmas of 2021.
Yeah.
He can't promise that every person will get every gift they want on time. Only Santa Claus can keep that promise. But there are items every year that sell out that are hard to find.
So look.
Some of you moms and dads may remember Cabbage Patch Kids back in the 80s, or Beanie Babies in the 90s, or other toys that have run out at Christmas time in past years when there was no supply chain problem.
So I missed this clip. We were on Christmas break. This is right before Christmas, 2021. He was trying to justify stuff not being on the shelf, comparing, toilet paper or whatever with the Cabbage Patch craze of the 80s or the Beanie Babies of the 90s. I mean, that's pathetic.
Asinine.
So we could have spent a half an hour with all of the references he's made to the supply chain since he's been president of the United States. We stopped at just a handful. But while I was looking for these, just a cursory search of supply chain references, I stumbled onto this thing right here where we've talked about it. Remember Jeffy came in after the State of the Union one night, and he's like, dude, they just recycled. That's the same speech from last year. And remember, somebody did it like back to back, and they took the same phrases and stuff. Okay, same phrases is one thing. That's bad enough. But oh my gosh, somebody else put this together, showing he just lifts completely the same speech. Watch this.
I've used every tool available to address the price increases.
Oh, it's made more again.
And it's working. Take gasoline and gas prices. Last week, I announced the largest ever release from the United States Strategic Petroleum Reserve.
2 different releases,
to increase the supply of oil and help bring down prices. I brought together other nations, India, Japan, the Republic of Korea, the United Kingdom, all joined us. They all agreed to release additional oil from the reserves. And China may be doing so as well. This worldwide effort we're leading will not solve the problem of high gas prices overnight. But over the last month, likely due in part to the anticipation of this action, we've seen the price of oil and gasoline on the wholesale markets come down significantly. In fact, at the end of October, the price of gasoline in the wholesale market has fallen by about 10%. That's a drop of 25 cents per gallon. Those savings should reach the American people very soon, and it can't happen fast enough. And I've asked the Federal Trade Commission to consider whether potentially illegal and anti-competitive behavior in the oil and gas industry is causing higher prices to be maintained for consumers when the overall cost of oil is down.
The wholesale prices come down so much.
Now, I noticed you skipped over the fact that he completely said nations in one of those speeches and countries.
I noticed that
in the other one.
They're like, "Oh, we're going to really spice this one up."
Oh, yeah.
Change it up a little bit.
A lot different.
Change it up a little bit. I want you to read through this and make some changes. And the speechwriter, the teleprompt operator was like, "Oh,
we'll change nation."
Yeah, that's a good one.
To countries.
Yeah.
Or countries to nation. I'm not sure which of those came first. Wow. That is unbelievable.
And I apologize. I know one Joe Biden is bad enough in your life.
Yeah.
We gave you 2. Our apologies. He is just, this is a night.
It's embarrassing.
When do we wake up from this?
I don't know. Jeez. I really hope, like November of next year, we get a big awakening to somebody new.
Like, you
who's a Republican?
You don't want Kamala Harris, huh?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I do not.
No.
Did you see Steve Bannon is suggesting that Donald Trump make JFK Jr. his running companion? That would be interesting.
That would be formidable.
It would be Trump Kennedy for president and vice president. Wow.
That would get some votes.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Some states are dealing with crazy Democrats on a local level, too, like in Minnesota, where they've got a bill. They've introduced a bill to change the definition of hate speech.
Oh.
Here's a Republican lawmaker asking questions of a Democrat lawmaker.
Wait, are we going to have time for this here?
Let me see how long this is.
2:18. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to hit that in.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to wait till
Can we
afterwards.
do Kamala, though? Can we visit her real quick? Because she was brilliant again yesterday. She has a way with words, Pat. She has such a way with words.
Well, she's really eloquent.
Yeah.
We know that.
That's the word.
Yeah. Here's some of her eloquence.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's very important, as you have heard from so many incredible leaders, for us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present, and to be able to contextualize it, to understand where we exist in the history and in the moment as it relates not only to the past but the future.
Okay.
Reminds me of something else that she has said in the past.
Oh, okay. What we got?
That went a
The
little
governor
something
and
like
I,
this.
and we were all doing a tour of the library here and talking about the significance of the passage of time.
Okay, right.
Right? The significance of the passage of time.
The significance
So
of the
when you
passage
think
of
about
time.
it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs. And there is such great significance to the passage of time.
Yeah, you got it.
When we think about a day in the life of our children.
In the present. Right, but what about the significance of the passage of time? When you think about that, you really get kind of a feel for the significance, of the passage of time.
Do you prefer a moment in time or a passage of time?
Well, in the present, I'm thinking about the passage of time.
Okay.
But in that moment is when I'm thinking of the passage of time.
I mean, we have fools.
You can't make this up.
Yeah, you can't.
I guess you could, but nobody would believe it. If this was in a movie, it would fail because people would be like, come on. That can't happen. That's just ridiculous. You got to make it somewhat believable.
Well, you know what they say. Election fraud has consequences.
Is that what they say?
Oh, that's what I say.
Okay. More Packer Unleashed coming up. Got some tweets here from Big Poppy. Ukraine will be the next country to enter BRICS. Xi will broker a peace deal. China will be seen as the hero, taking the place of the United States.
Boy, I think that's going to happen. Good thought. Oh,
Hee-haw the Viking. Why does saying supply chain make him turn the wrong way and start talking to the wall?
I know.
But think about it. I wonder how many people talked about, quote, the supply chain.
Where are you going,
before the pandemic? Everybody knows what supply chain is now.
Great. That's right.
I mean, that's just like he learns a fact.
So weird.
That he should have known, first of all. But that aside, he learns a fact, and he thinks that it's like this profound knowledge that's been gifted to him now.
Yeah. And nobody else knows it.
Nobody knows it.
The rest of the country is so stupid we've never heard the term. Amazing. Fun. Gilbert tweets, at least Biden is plagiarizing himself. Yeah. Toothpaste words, I learned what supply chain was in middle school.
Thank you. Thank you.
Agonizing. It's really agonizing.
Every day it gets more and more difficult.
We started into the story about the states that are dealing with crazy Democrats on a local level. In Minnesota, there's a bill that's been introduced to change the definition of hate speech. And here's a Republican lawmaker asking questions of a Democrat lawmaker. She has a bill that would cripple free speech in the state of Minnesota. Check this out.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and Representative Vang. If a Minnesotan writes an article claiming or arguing that COVID-19 is a Chinese bioweapon that leaked from a lab in Wuhan, and someone reports that article to the Department of Human Rights, is that something that the Department of Human Rights should put in their bias registry under your bill?
Representative Vang.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Representative Niska, not all incidents are considered, I guess, violent or criminal, as I said before. And so this clearly, if with the rhetoric that we have seen since the pandemic and regarding accusing Asians of bringing in the coronavirus, that is bias motivated. And so that can be considered a bias incident.
You
Representative
gotta be kidding me.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think I heard yes to that, which is very troubling to me, that someone making a factual argument along those lines, I think is something that's within political discourse would be included in the Department of Human Rights database. Let me ask you another question, though, if Representative Vang would yield.
She will yield. Representative Niska.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And Representative Vang, if a Minnesotan is wearing a T-shirt that says "I love J.K. Rowling" and someone sees that and reports them to the Minnesota Department of Human Rights as an example of gender identity or gender expression bias, is that something that the Minnesota Department of Human Rights should put in this bias database?
Representative Vang.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and Representative Niska. I think this question will best be answered by the lawyers. I'm not a lawyer myself. I think in the language of the provision, we have looked at the language to make sure that a substantial part of any incident has to be relating to bias and hate and motivated. And so I will, I'm not going to say a yes or no to that question. It is really up to the those investigating to decide whether there is a stance.
That sounds like a really good bill.
Yeah. So
it sounds like it'd really go well.
Remember, the original question was, can I wear a shirt that says, "I love J.K. Rowling"?
Yeah.
Can I get a yes or no? What the hell's happening in Minnesota with that bill? We know that Minnesota's got some issues.
Yeah.
But that would be a whole new level.
Oof. I can't imagine that passing. I mean, don't you have enough sense left in Minnesota to say no to something that absolutely destroys free speech? Absolutely destroys it. Are you really going to go that far? They're close to Canada. Maybe they're going to just go the way of Canada. And check this out from Arizona, where a state representative removed Bibles from the common area in the state capitol.
Watch this. There she is. Just kind of...
She apparently didn't know that there's surveillance there.
Well, that was added after the Bibles began to disappear. But look at her. She's looking around and swipe. And then she comes over here. See that book open right there toward the front?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, that's a Bible. And it's about to go bye-bye. Because look at her. I mean, she's moving them around and stuff. Just so weird. Look at that. I'll just take that.
Yeah, she just grabbed that one. Mm-hmm.
She got some praying to do. Anyhow. So this story is fascinating. It's so ridiculous.
So that's Stephanie Stahl Hamilton, captured on security cameras, removing the Bible from the House members only lounge. That was on April 10th. The Arizona House of Representatives was alerted about the disappearance of a pair of Bibles on March 23rd. So it took them almost 2 weeks to figure this out. They're normally left on display in the House members only lounge, and she decided to remove them because I guess, I don't know, they were offending her perhaps?
Oh no, this is wait till the capper on this one.
The restricted area is located near the House floor and is a place where members of the House can go if they need to take a call or meet with other representatives or senior staff members in between votes. After being alerted to the Bible's disappearances, Gumshoes with the House security team started searching the lounge for the Bibles and found they'd been placed under cushions of 2 chairs. Okay. Nearly a week later, another Bible went missing from the lounge and was later discovered to have been moved and placed inside a refrigerator in a nearby kitchen.
Yep. This woman's mentally ill. Let's just say
that's really weird.
You've got a lawmaker who is mentally ill. Oh, but it gets even better. Wait for the rest of the story.
As a result of the disappearing Bibles, the security team placed a temporary camera inside the lounge, as we just saw.
Yeah.
The State House source said security cameras are placed throughout many communal areas in the House building, though the lounge was not one of those areas initially, but of course now it is. On April 10th, when House members were in session, a third incident occurred, this time with the pair of Bibles in the lounge once again going missing from their locations. Security camera captured Stephanie Stahl Hamilton, of course a Democrat, and ordained Presbyterian minister.
Right?
Removing the books and hiding them under 2 sofas in the lounge.
Yeah, if the Bible in the refrigerator doesn't get you, the fact that this is an ordained minister, I mean,
really weird.
So weird.
They asked her about it. She refused to comment.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know why she was doing this. She's just obviously sick in the head, as so many Democrats are. Otherwise, they wouldn't be Democrats.
But it's not like she's making laws or
no,
position
it is like
of
that.
authority.
It's a lot like
it
that.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Like
in fact, it is that. Yeah. So.
Wow. This is.
Jeez. Got a feel-good moment, though. Editors of large newspapers were gathered in a forum, and one member of the audience had some things to say to him.
I love this guy.
I'm looking for the one with Seymour Hersh because it's a policy and press hall event. So shouldn't we be talking about the Nord Stream since that's the biggest story of the century? And
let's go,
you guys,
newspapers.
you know, I mean, you have the executive editor of the New York Times there who came out with a phony story to try and block Seymour Hersh. It's just kind of funny how that happened, you know? I mean, did you even acknowledge Seymour Hersh? All of you are executive editors of papers that broke Pentagon, My Lai, Watergate. Is this the same papers or not? I mean, is there anything you've gotten right in the last 20 years, or am I mistaken about that? I mean, it's just kind of funny because Iraq, wrong. Syria, wrong. Russiagate, really wrong. Okay, I mean, the list goes on and on. So the last thing you could do to try and actually fix your reputation is acknowledge that through leaks, we had to find out that Zelenskyy was going to bomb Moscow on the anniversary. I mean, if you're so impartial, shouldn't you at least say, right, that Zelenskyy was going to bring us on the verge of World War III? That seems pretty fair. While Julian Assange rots in prison, all of you've got, fat checks because he's in jail for doing your job. And you know what? Tucker Carlson ain't no Seymour Hersh, but he did something you guys are scared to do. Speak the truth and actually be critical of the war, which is why he was actually fired from Fox, because you are all cowards. Single one of you. None of you have actually had any relevancy. And you know what? The mainstream press is now dying. Nobody's ever going to listen to you again. You have no credibility with the public. The only people who care about what you have to say are elite who have nothing productive to say anymore. And it's dying off. So will you at least say something, either about Nord Stream or Ukraine or the fact that Zelenskyy brought us to the verge of World War III, and the only reason we knew about that was through leaks? Go ahead. It's a free speech event, right? You guys are the press.
Let's go, press.
Let's say something here.
Look, they don't have anything to say right now.
Come on. You're the executive editor of the New York Times, I'm just trying to get into some good trouble here, man. Woo. Listen, Karen, get out of my face for a second. I got to talk to these gentlemen. Okay. Well, I just want to hear what they have to say. Go ahead, I'm done.
All right. Time to talk.
You're not going to tell to you. Come.
Wait your turn.
You could project if we can't.
I would just say, I think it's important to hear everybody's point of view.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
All right.
I do think that we need to give our moderator a chance to ask other questions.
We're on the verge of World War III.
Some of the people in the audience also do so. Thank you. Really, thank you.
Say something about this bombing. We blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. Listen, don't stand there while there are people rotting in prison. Nobody said anything about Uhuru, right? The socialists who are in jail for being critical of this war.
I tell you.
Wow. And they wouldn't say a word about it.
Not a word.
Huh. Fascinating. Jeez. The cowards. Just absolute cowards. And, they can't handle the fact that somebody brings that up, their cowardice, in a forum like that. So they just remain silent and have the guy removed from the room. Wasn't that the point? Was that people would ask you questions? Isn't it a question and answer thing?
Right.
Looked like it was set up for that.
Right, exactly.
Huh. But only questions they like, I guess.
Yeah, where's your cheat sheet card like Joe Biden's got? Oh, okay, so here comes this question. No.
Wow. I mean, he was pretty eloquent, too.
Yep. And he had the facts.
Yeah, he did. Man. The co-founder of Greenpeace, Dr. Patrick Moore, recently did an interview in Britain.
I love this.
And he had some things to say about CO2 and its effect on the climate.
The Greenpeace co-founder. Okay, this ought to be
One of my missions is to turn on its head the idea that carbon dioxide is a pollutant and somehow dangerous, when in fact it is the most important nutrient for all life on Earth, and without it this would be a dead planet. So I say not only is carbon dioxide good, it is essential. And it's a good thing that we're putting some more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere because it was running low before we came along.
CO2, we know its benefits for plants, but it is a known greenhouse gas, and we're pumping too much of it in, leading to global warming.
Well, actually, it may be a known greenhouse gas, but it's not known how strong it is in terms of changing the Earth's temperature. And so far in this century, there has been zero warming from a statistically significant basis, and the UK Met Office says so, yet 1/3 of all human CO2 emissions have been put into the atmosphere in the last 18 years. So it doesn't look like a lockstep causal relationship between increasing CO2 and warming of the Earth.
Right.
Are you seriously suggesting we should be pumping more stuff in, polluting the Earth more, building more coal-fired power stations, just so we can make sure that the CO2 levels are good?
No, I'm not, because we're putting plenty of CO2 into the atmosphere. We don't need to do it this quickly, but if we bring it up to a higher level than it is today, we will get immediately an increase in the growth of crops and trees, which is not a bad thing. In the long run, though, it doesn't matter if we bring it down quite a bit. And so that's why I'm supportive of nuclear energy and of natural gas. This tendency to go in the rich countries
Greenpeace
to wind and
co-founder, by the
solar
way.
is a giant
Again.
waste of money.
Mhm.
Those wind farms will rust in place, and there is no fun to decommission them when they either wear out or we decide how ridiculous it is to spend so much money for so little electricity that isn't even reliable.
What are you saying about energy policy now to the ideas of decarbonisation to cut? Is everyone wrong?
Yes, they're wrong if they are actually basing their energy policy on decarbonization. They're not wrong to base their energy policy on cost effectiveness, on pollution control, which is why moving from coal to gas makes sense if you have it. But India has coal, and India has 300 million people with no electricity. What do we expect them to do? Of course they're going to build coal plants, but India is also building a lot more nuclear plants than the UK is right now, and it doesn't have the emissions of a coal plant. And China is building huge hydroelectric dams, which don't have the emissions of coal plants. So many of these countries are doing their bit without wasting all this money on wind and solar energy, which is unreliable and prohibitively expensive in the long run.
Why is this consensus out there?
Look, if we had definitive proof that CO2 was causing serious problems and we could prove it, don't you think they would write that down on a piece of paper somewhere so people could read it? They don't have definitive proof, period, in science. I'm a student of the philosophy and history of science, and I know that the scientific method has not been applied in such a way as to prove that carbon dioxide is causing the Earth to warm.
Do you think in a few years, say 50 years from now, people go, that was a really stupid period in our history when we tried to change all our energy policies to cut this gas?
Yes.
I am firmly of the belief that the future will show that this whole hysteria over climate change was a complete fabrication.
Thank you. Wow. Co-founder of Greenpeace.
Feels good.
And let's not forget what Al Gore admitted years ago.
Temperature goes up before the sea goes up. Sometimes that has been true in the past. The opposite has also been true.
Oh, okay. So that blows the whole basis for their CO2 BS out of the water. Sometimes that is true, but the opposite is also true. Okay, well, you just admitted then that the temperature sometimes drives CO2 up. Other times, CO2 drives temperature. Well, if temperature can drive up CO2, then what are we doing here?
Man.
What are we doing?
Yeah, you see videos like that, and you see videos of the guy challenging the newspaper editors, and just for a fleeting moment, you get a little bit of hope.
Yeah. Just for that fleeting moment. But look how indoctrinated the reporter was.
Yeah.
He was so indignant. Yep. What? Why is there consensus? There's really not consensus. So maybe you shouldn't be using that word.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Great to have you with us. Mother's Day coming up. When is Mother's Day? Is that like the 15th of May?
14th.
14th of May.
So just over 2 weeks, right?
Yep. So you got you have till May 8th to guarantee that your Kexi cookie order will get there by Mother's Day. Okay, that's the guarantee date.
I see.
May 8th. All right, go to Kexi.com. We got the German chocolate cookie that's back for Mother's Day with all that gooey goodness inside.
Oh, dude, don't do that.
So good.
Don't do that.
Oh, and my wife just came up with this new bread. She calls it hummingbird bread. Oh, it's got so many good things in it. You're going to love that. You can only get that with the Mother's Day package. Plus, this is just for our listeners. If you use the promo code TheJeffy, Jeffy, you get 18% off. Okay? 18% off. And order by May 8th to guarantee delivery by Mother's Day.
Okay.
Hard to believe we're that close to Mother's Day and we still got this kind of weather going on in Texas. Jeez. It was only, upper 50s most of the day yesterday, and that probably seems warm to some in some areas of the country right now.
Let me see.
But that is really, it's usually 80 or more this time of year.
I just want to see what the U.S. temperatures are right now. Yeah, we're in the 20s and 30s in Minnesota and upper Midwest.
Wow.
So,
yeah,
wow, that's crazy.
And people are still getting snow. It's almost May.
Yeah, April 27th.
In some areas, still getting snow. We had some nasty weather, though, in the South last night. And right around Dallas, here's what it looked like.
Yeah, look at this.
Just
that's hail coming down.
Really bad hailstorm.
You're going to see, this is an animal video, actually, Pat. You're going to see a bull run by. Poor guy. Like, I got to get out of here. Now, the guy who shot this video said that he got to shelter and everything's fine. No animals were hurt in the making of this video.
Oh, good.
But I don't think I sent in images of
huge
people holding the size of their hand, hailstones.
Well, you saw the splash.
Oh, there we go. Look at that. Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
Wow.
That's a fist, man.
That hit you in the head. That hurts.
Yeah.
Man, oh, man.
So
that was going on here.
Just south of town, yeah. Oof.
Yep.
No, thank you.
That's
a new roof right there.
Oh, definitely.
That's a new windshield.
Okay, so we just had ours replaced. What's it been? A year and a half, maybe 2 years? Has it been 2 years since that really big hailstorm we had that everybody had to change their, fix their roof or get a new roof at once?
There was one March where we had, at least where I live, 3 hailstorms in the month of March. And that's when I had to take my vehicle in for repairs, and it's a very, very long story. It ended up taking over 9 months before they finally got it fixed because there were
so many.
It's weird wiring issues. They always would screw something up, and then I'd have to take it back. And so, please, no more hail, please.
Yeah,
okay, because
we don't need it.
I park outside.
I don't want it. Yesterday, a whistleblower was testifying in front of Congress about human trafficking along the U.S. southern border.
For nearly a decade, unaccompanied children have been suffering in the shadows. And I have to confess,
can you pause this for a second? Yeah. So basically, this should be major news. Like, this should be
Huge.
Getting a lot of traction, and it'll be interesting to see if it does. It won't. But she is coming forward, and she's, like you said, she's a whistleblower who's saying, the U.S. government is basically enabling human trafficking. Now, she leaves it out that maybe they aren't aware. But, oh, my gosh, this is depressing as hell.
They're suffering until 2021, when I volunteered to help the Biden administration with the crisis at the southern border. As part of Operation Artemis, I was deployed to the Pomona Fairplex Emergency Intake Site in California to help HHS, Office of Refugee Resettlement, reunite children with sponsors in the United States. I thought I was going to help place children in loving homes. Instead, I discovered that children are being trafficked through a sophisticated network that begins with recruiting in home country, smuggling to the U.S. border, and ends when ORR delivers a child to a sponsor. Some sponsors are criminals and traffickers and members of transnational criminal organizations. Some sponsors view children as commodities and assets to be used for earning income. This is why we are witnessing an explosion of labor trafficking. Now, whether it's intentional or not, it could be argued that the United States government has become the middleman in a large-scale, multi-billion-dollar child trafficking operation that is run by bad actors seeking to profit off of the lives of children. As for me, my interest is the safety of the children. I do not view this as a political issue. I view this as a humanitarian issue. I assure you, my motives are the highest and best. I want the children protected. So I want to tell you some of what I witnessed personally at the Pomona Fairplex. I saw vulnerable indigenous children from Guatemala who speak Mayan dialects and cannot speak Spanish. That means they cannot ask for help in English. They cannot ask for help in Spanish. They become captives of their sponsors. I have sat with case managers as they've cried to tell me the horror of what has happened to children as they make the journey to this country. I saw apartment buildings where 20, 30, and 40 unaccompanied minors have been released. I saw sponsors trying to simultaneously sponsor children from multiple ORR sites at one time. I saw sponsors using multiple addresses to obtain sponsorships of children. And I saw numerous cases of children in debt bondage, and the child knew they had to stay with the sponsor until the debt was paid.
Jeez.
Realizing that we were not offering the children the American dream, but instead putting them in modern-day slavery with wicked overlords was a terrible revelation. A terrible revelation. These children are a captive victim population with no access to law enforcement or knowledge of their rights. They are extorted, abused, neglected. And that is why I blew the whistle in 2021. I witnessed firsthand the horrors of child trafficking and exploitation. My life will never be the same after what I saw.
Gee, wow. Where's the chant, children's rights are human rights? We have that with trans. You have that with gay rights. What about children's rights? Does anybody care about that anymore?
Yeah, and she made the point, I don't know if it was in that clip there, but that law enforcement isn't involved at any point in this process. They're just handing them off to sponsors. And if they get followed up on, basically, oh, good, no, there's one that, amazingly, there was a follow-up. I mean, this
situation at the border is completely out of control. And, you know, we talk about the illegal aliens all the time that are crossing the border and the drugs that are crossing the border. But what about this? Child sex trafficking at the border? And you still don't care? And you're still not doing anything about it? Man, we got to put pressure on this administration to fix this. But they're not going to. They're not going to. We're going to have to wait till 2024 and hopefully get somebody else in office who will care about these things. Whether that's Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis or Vivek Ramaswamy, got to be somebody on the Republican side because the Democrats don't care. They don't care.
How depressing is this? I mean, you've got a nation that refuses to, if I can't get you to close the border down just because it's the rule of law, can I get you to close the border down for fentanyl being, killing Americans? Or, if I can't get you, okay, how about
the children?
The children. Can we do can we do anything? Can we come together and find something that will get you guys on the left to agree that the border needs to be sealed?
And I think the answer is no.
Many of you on the right as well.
Yeah.
It is so depressing.
Well, they're too busy doing things like changing our language in schools. Yeah. Did you see this Vermont elementary school story? They're no longer going to use the words male or female when teaching 5th grade students about puberty and human reproductive systems.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Families of students at Founders Memorial School received a letter on April 20th. Informing them of the changes to the science and health curriculum. Changes reflect the district's desire to use, quote, gender-inclusive language, unquote.
Oh, no.
According to the principal, Sarah Jablonski.
Okay.
In an effort to align our curriculum with our equity policy.
Oh, here we go.
You know it's going to be good when they start talking about their equity policy.
Yep.
Teachers will be using gender-inclusive language throughout this unit.
All right.
With any differences, we strive to use person-first language as best practice. Instead of referring to a person as a boy or male, teachers will say, quote, a person who produces sperm, unquote. Likewise, they'll no longer say girl or female, but person who produces eggs. You have got to be kidding me. It's no joke. I'm not joking. It's not a joke.
Oh, my.
I wish it was. I wish it were a joke. Wow. The Essex Westford School District noted in the letter that teachers were working on editing worksheets to reflect the new changes.
Oh, my gosh. I can't.
While teaching students about the human body, the district said it will focus on the physical and emotional changes that occur during puberty and briefly introduce the basic structure and function of human reproductive systems.
Wait, what?
Now, if you're talking about a person who produces sperm, couldn't that be a female, though? I mean, I thought that anybody can do any of these things.
Right.
And why are you claiming that a person who produces eggs is female? Why would you specify that? Like men can't do that? Come on.
So I thought these teachers have to go and
so ridiculous.
Change the worksheets.
Yeah.
From male and female to person
who produces sperm and person who produces eggs.
And so I was noodling this out. I was thinking, oh my gosh, they're going to have to go and repaint the bathrooms with these long phrases out front. And actually, no, they'll just say bathroom, because I guarantee you anybody can use any bathroom in that school.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
What a nightmare.
Yeah.
And I put the bat signal up again. Dear aliens, send help, because this is beyond repair now. Help us.
I love the letter they sent out to parents. Dear 5th grade families and caregivers, it is time for our science/health unit about the human body focused on puberty and the human reproductive systems. This unit will take place during the last few months of school. We will focus on the physical and emotional changes that occur during puberty and briefly introduce the basic structure and function of human reproductive systems. Students will be participating in whole group discussions and have private reflection time. Okay. There will also be 3 interview opportunities coming home throughout the unit. I wonder if you can opt out of this with your children. Hey, why don't you leave the reproductive system teaching? Well, I'll teach them that at home. How about you stay away from it with your person who produces sperm nonsense? How about that? In an effort to align our curriculum with equity policy, teachers will be using gender-inclusive language throughout this unit. With any differences, we strive to use person-first language as best practice. You'll see examples of this below, and then they share the stupid examples we told you about. I mean, can this get any worse? And, of course, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it will. Because we haven't put a stop to it yet. If we don't put a stop to this freak show, it is just going to spiral completely out. Like it already is. It's already completely out of control.
So when you open up the newspaper there in Vermont to check the scores of the different games, right? Now, granted, this is just 5th grade now, but I'm sure it'll just continue all the way up, into high schools and stuff like that. And you want to say, hey, who won the football game last night, or let's say soccer, right? Let's say soccer. You got the people who produce sperm scores, and you got the people who produce egg scores. And you're like, oh, let's see the eggs team. Yeah, let's see. I mean, it's just this world is it's gone, man.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's not coming back. It's in the rearview mirror. It's back there. Now, Tucker made it sound like, I loved his a couple-minute thing last night. And he said, like, there's hope, right? We're going to, this is, it can't, this isn't sustainable.
Can't sustain.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to get this thing back going. I hope so. I hope I'm wrong. Oh, dear God, I hope I'm wrong. But, man, you read stories like this, and it just takes you 2 steps back.
Yeah, sure does.
Oh, God.
All right, let me take you a minute, and it's NFL draft night tonight.
It sure is.
We haven't even mentioned that, but the NFL draft is here, and the most exciting prospect is the prospect of being perfectly groomed.
All right.
Head to toe with our friends at Manscaped.
And all points in between.
Manscaped has long had elite downfield play with their Lawnmower 4.0. But in 2023, they have the rookie sensation Beard Hedger to ensure the face of your franchise is a pretty one.
Aww.
Isn't that nice?
That is a good line.
Manscaped can help you make the sexy pick without forgetting about the big uglies up front. That's the right Beard Hedger and the Lawnmower 4.0. They're a franchise-changing combo that will have you looking at your roster with pride.
All right, man. Kudos to the guy who wrote the ad copy.
Great stuff. All right. So Manscaped, you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code UNLEASHED at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the promo code UNLEASHED. Go from Mr. Irrelevant to a first-round pick.
I love it.
With Manscaped.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
I got some tweets here. Electrolyte Boogaloo tweets, act surprised when you find out the Pelosi's are traffickers.
Oh, no way.
That's going to be hard to act surprised in that eventuality. Liberalism causes truth blindness tweets, I used to get fired up when a whistleblower would come out. Not anymore. Yeah. Nothing ever gets done because the people who could do something about it are the people committing the crimes.
So true.
Carl Smith tweets, maybe this Vermont school district should cease using the word teacher and replace it with person spreading BS.
That works.
Uh-huh. Oh, man. Have you noticed that there's a little something going on in Sudan?
Oh, yeah.
And we're not doing anything about it with our American citizens that are trapped there? Now, they're saying about 16,000 Americans are there. Now, many of them may not want to leave, so who knows what the actual total is of those who want to get the heck out of the country so that they're safe. But former CIA official says Biden screwed up so badly in Afghanistan that's why he's not even going to try to evacuate Americans in Sudan. And the Biden administration has indeed told Americans there, yeah, you're on your own. You're pretty much on your own. We warned you not to go, and we warned you not to stay, and so now good luck getting out, but we're not going to really be doing a massive evacuation process with the U.S. military. Sorry.
Yeah. I did appreciate this tweet from Pathead, the N1 James, who said, the Sudan stuff is fun. Egypt and Sudan are in a border dispute over oil rights. Egypt got busted trying to sell arms to Russia. Yeah, don't forget that. Mm-hmm. And now Sudan is having a civil war. Our fingerprints are all over Sudan right now. It have to be. I mean, it came out yesterday, and I've been watching Sudan as soon as, and I'm not alone in this, I know, as soon as you heard there was a bioweapons facility there, right? And you're like, okay, we're obviously involved. And then finally yesterday it comes out that, surprise, Dr. Fauci, the CDC, the Department of Defense, they were all part of funding the deadly research going on there in the Sudanese lab. That who knows what the militants are doing there. There's all sorts of stuff in that lab. But now I guess the question is, are we going to go to war there to hide that fact the way we went to Ukraine to hide that fact? I mean, seriously, can we get out of every country, please?
I know.
I don't want you doing anything there. I don't want you to have a base there. I don't want you to have a presence. I sure as hell don't want you doing anything with bioweapons research and gain-of-function stuff.
I think more and more Americans are feeling that
way. Our tax dollars, don't forget.
Can we please just stay out of every other country on the planet? Unless we're attacked. And then you do something about it. And you do something really definitive, and then you get the heck out again.
Just frustrating as hell and dangerous, too. But honestly, what are these militants? They don't even know which side has control of the facility. Sweet Lord.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Like, what is going to get released now? Who knows? And maybe, you know what? Maybe it's safer in the hands of a Sudanese militant than the Communist Party of China.
Interestingly, other countries are, in fact, evacuating their citizens.
Oh, that's
UK,
how you do it, huh?
France, other countries, are actually getting their citizens out successfully.
That's weird.
And we're like, good luck. And I agree with the CIA agent, George Beebe, who is saying that we're not doing that because of Afghanistan. I believe that. Yep. I believe it. They couldn't handle it in Afghanistan. Would they handle it any better here? I doubt it. This is just such an inept government right now. Man, do we need a change? And it's got to come. It's got to come in 2024. By the way, the latest GOP primary poll for the Republican nomination, Trump is just crushing the field right now. He's got 53% support compared to DeSantis, 21%. He's up by 32 percentage points right now over Ron DeSantis. And then the rest of the field is way behind. In fact, I think you can add up all the rest of the numbers. They won't even get to DeSantis numbers. Pence has 6%. Nikki Haley, 4%. Vivek Ramaswamy, 3%. But he's up. He's tripled his numbers. Remember the last poll? I think he was at 1. Now he's at 3. He keeps doing that, and he'll be in good shape by the time the election rolls around. Liz Cheney. First of all, she's not even announced. Secondly, who in the world would support her in the Republican Party?
They need to stop polling the Cheney family.
Yeah, no kidding. They claim she has 2% support.
Okay.
Tim Scott, 2%. Greg Abbott, Chris Christie, Sununu, and Larry Elder, all at 1%. The last 4 at 1%.
Okay.
So since February, Trump has gone up 10 points. DeSantis has gone down 7.
Oof. Do you think it will make a difference when DeSantis officially announces, which I hear is coming in mid-May?
Mid-May.
Saw that blurb last night.
No, I didn't see that.
So,
okay. Maybe.
I don't know if that'll change. Like, now he's running. I can officially, I don't know. But look, any name that you just mentioned.
Better than what we have.
Better than Biden.
Except Liz Cheney.
Maybe. I almost said that.
Except
and then I
Liz
thought,
Cheney.
Okay, I'm not endorsing her by saying better than Joe Biden. I could say that the gum that I stepped in yesterday out here in the parking lot is better than Joe Biden.
Yes.
But no one polled. See, you're not including that.
They didn't include the
they
gum
didn't include
on
the gum on my shoe.
They
not
did
a joke.
There's another House hearing yesterday in which a Republican lawmaker went off on Eric Swalwell again. I love this. So, it got a little nasty because Swalwell was attacking a witness about the border. And so Representative Troy Nehls from Texas said, I apologize that you had to, you're here for a hearing on the border, but Democrats don't want to talk about the border, Nehls said. He went on to say, Mr. Swalwell is down there. Obviously, everyone knows he's made some comments. He's got a checkered past. His alleged relationship, and then Swalwell jumps in. I'm sorry, a checkered past? And Nehls says, it's my time. Alleged affairs, the relationship with Yum Yum.
I love it.
To which Swalwell says, no.
No, get it right.
You don't get to say that stuff, which is not the word he actually used. That's not true. And he's right about that. Her name isn't Yum Yum. It's Fang Fang. So he did have a point there. So Nehls continued. He had alleged relationships with Yum Yum, and now he's angry. I love that they're calling her Yum Yum.
So
great.
McCarthy made it so that Swalwell couldn't serve on the Intel committee.
Yeah.
But yet, he still is in office
and still is serving on certain committees.
So just make it unbearable for him.
And that's what they're trying to do, it looks like.
I love it.
I think it's great.
Employ some Zelenskyy tactics and isolate him and make him uncomfortable.
Well, he absolutely paid no price for whatever he did for 2 years with a Chinese spy, and he's never had any consequences from that. Well, except for McCarthy removing him from a committee. I mean, that's it. He should be out of Congress. Mm-hmm. He should be tried for treason.
Mm-hmm.
But no, none of that has happened, and none of that is going to happen. And it's what frustrates people so much. You're going after Donald Trump For what? For paying somebody to keep quiet and then the subsequent cover-up of that? Supposedly, we don't even know that actually happened. But at least they're looking into that. But you don't look into Eric Swalwell and his 2-year relationship with Yum Yum.
Yeah, and don't forget the person that he supposedly paid off said no.
Yeah, she says it didn't happen. Jeez. Meanwhile, Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm, this is so good. This is great planning. She wants the military to be all electric by 2030.
2030, yep.
2030! That's 7 years to you and me. She affirmed her faith in the Biden administration proposal in a hearing for the Senate Armed Services Committee, in which Senator Joni Ernst pressed her on whether the policy would hinder the lethality of the military. She insisted electrification of the military would decrease vulnerability to worldwide turbulence in the fossil fuel sector. I just wonder, so they're going to be putting charging stations on all battlefields from now on?
You just don't start a fight.
Okay.
Where there aren't any charging
no.
stations.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So where are there? So we can only fight battles like at an outdoor mall, like we're in South Lake, where they've got the, 15 or 20 charging stations lined up there. We can fight a battle there.
Okay, don't give this administration any ideas of where to fight battles.
But in the Middle East, I don't know that there are charging stations in the desert.
Oh, it sounds like they were going to bring the troops home then.
Yeah, okay.
There's no charging stations around the world, so I think we're done here.
I mean, can you imagine? What are you supposed to do? They won't stay charged up. They're going to run out at some point. So you've got tanks that are running on electric power, that are running on batteries, and when the batteries are empty, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
You become isolationists.
Unbelievable.
You park all your vehicles back home.
That's what you do. Or you put charging stations wherever you think you might be fighting battles.
Yeah, okay. Did you see that the House voted yesterday to to increase the debt limit? So in other words, the ball is now in Joe Biden's court. Let's go. They've come up with a plan.
Yeah.
So what's the problem now? He won't even sit down and talk about it. But now Republicans can say with a straight face, look, we passed it. We passed it. You guys won't even take it up in the Senate.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you want?
But I wondered, I don't know if they put any money in there for electric chargers for military vehicles. I don't know if that's in there. So then we might have to go back to the drawing. Go back to the drawing board.
If we're going to get this done by 2030, we got to get on the stick right now. Now.
When you hear them put up, proposals like this that just seem so ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Usually it's way out there. Usually it's about green energy. Hey, by 2040 or whatever.
Or 2060 or something.
Right, and you think...
that makes a little bit of sense, maybe.
No. The thought I have is, hey, maybe we'll have some right-thinking lawmakers in by then to reverse this crap.
Yeah, no.
But now they're like, oh, no. Mm-hmm. No, we're going to do it by, say, the end of, the decade, just a few years out.
That's because they refuse to give you an actual... reasonable timeline for when catastrophe is going to strike over global warming, because they have to fire people up right now and scare the hell out of young people, because that's what's driving this discussion now. They've convinced the youth that we only have 8 years left as a society, and then we're done because of global warming. Yeah. So they don't do the far-off figures. By 2100, New Orleans is going to be underwater. Okay, well, now it's, 8 years from now, we've got catastrophic problems.
That's not a compelling argument. Have you been to New Orleans? It needs a good washing. But, it's so frustrating.
It is.
And it's so self-destructive. And it's by design that we commit suicide as a nation.
And then they wonder why the youth are so freaked out, so depressed, and so indoctrinated over this stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't enough to convince children to not have kids and have a family.
Right.
Now it's like, by the way, you should just chop off your parts and don't even worry about having kids to begin with. That's exactly what's happening here. It's such a cult. But I don't know, man. How much hope you got left for the nation? How's
some.
it? Hope
I still
check.
have some.
Hope check.
I have some.
What's the percentage chance we turn this ship around, Pat Gray?
I don't want to put a percentage on it. That would be too depressing.
But there's a flicker of hope for you here.
I'm saying we have. So if it's like 1 in a million, so you're saying we've got a chance.
You got a chance.
I am saying we have a chance.
I'm just wondering, can we? The federal government, can we agree, has gotten way too big to the point where we're funding biolabs in Sudan.
Yes.
And God knows where else. I mean this seriously, actually. This isn't just some crazy little line here. We should dust off the Articles of Confederation and start over. Let's give the power. You want to really give the power back to the states? And then after I posted that on Twitter yesterday, somebody said, yeah, and we just all pulled together for a common defense? Yeah, let's do it. That's cool. That's it. Just 50 independent states, the way it should be. And we all have one military, a volunteer army, and that's the only thing that binds us together. That's my take. I mean it sincerely. Because the way they've abused and destroyed the U.S. Constitution and have it hanging, you can't even say it's hanging by a thread anymore. It's in the garbage can. We're just waiting for the dump truck to come over here and just take it on its merry way to the dumpster.
Yeah.
The way they've abused it, it's not living and breathing anymore because it's dead.
To these people in office right now, they have set fire to the U.S. Constitution. They don't care about it at all. And then they look at the Republicans and act as though they're the ones who are, denying free speech and all these things. It's really unbelievable what is going on. By the way, there's a massive blue hole that's been discovered off the coast of Mexico.
Oh, is that where the Constitution is currently?
That might be where they've put it, yeah. But is it a window into new life forms? Researchers are flabbergasted.
Cool.
They have flabbergasted the science community after discovering the world's second largest blue hole in Mexico, which could potentially provide a window into life on other planets.
I like it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Let's go.
The massive sapphire sinkhole was originally discovered in 2021, but was only documented recently in the scientific journal Frontiers in Marine Science.
There's 2 of them now.
Huh.
There's 2 of them.
But they're not both. Are they both in Mexico?
I don't know. I think one's. I don't know where the other one is. I think it's in there.
It's likely the deepest known blue hole in the region, according to scientists, known in specific circles as karst formations. Blue holes are actually vertical marine caves.
Okay. All right. Well, do we have the chart on how deep it is? I'd love to see that.
They were carved over thousands of years by glacial runoff during the Ice Age. I've never heard of this before.
Yeah, I haven't either.
These sprawling aquatic formations often extend hundreds of feet down and can measure an equal or greater distance across as well.
Look at that thing. That goes...
Oh, look how deep it is.
Yeah.
That's something.
That ain't no surface thing.
The latest cobalt cavern system was discovered off the Yucatan Peninsula's Chetamul Bay, whereupon it was surveyed and sampled by scuba divers, undersea sonar, and other methods. It's been dubbed Tom Ja, which means deep water in Mayan.
Yeah, I just call it deep water.
Okay.
Tom Ja.
But it's a behemoth blue lagoon that spans an area of 147,000 square feet.
That's pretty cool.
With a depth of 900 feet.
Wow.
This makes it the second deepest known blue hole in the world.
See, where's the other one?
The other one is the Dragon Hole in the South China Sea, which is believed to extend down some 980 feet. Oh, that's really close.
Dragon Hole.
Also noteworthy are the Tom Ja Blue Hole's steep slopes of almost 80 degrees that form a large conic structure. The Indigo Crater's walls shelter the water from tides, rendering its current completely still.
Dude, can we go hide out in there till this U.S. storm blows over?
Yes. Yes, we can. Unfortunately, little scholarship exists on blue holes due to their lack of accessibility to people. The aforementioned tidal flow makes it so that they're sharply stratified by a thin layer of fresh water on the surface that prevents oxygen from reaching the dense salt water below. Instead of oxygen, these ultramarine portals are filled with deadly gas hydrogen sulfide, making it perilous for people to venture into the abyss without the proper equipment.
So you
can't just go ahead and dive into it. Otherwise, it'll kill you because it's toxic.
The only thing has a deeper slope than these blue holes is Bud Light stock price. Bud Light's, how they doing? They're down 21%, I think.
Is it 21
Yeah,
now?
21%.
It was 17 just the other day. Now it's 21%?
Yeah.
I love that.
21% in volume, 17% in revenue. That's what it was.
All right.
Yeah. And so look at that. Look at what's been happening since April 1st.
Look at that. That's a big...
The red line, this is U.S. sales, right? Weekly retail store dollar sales in the U.S. changed from a year earlier. Okay. And so you can see that every week it's gotten deeper and deeper.
Coors Light and Miller Lite, the beneficiaries.
Yeah.
Almost exactly. Number that's gone down. They've had increases. Wow.
Both of them. That is awesome.
Isn't it, though?
You screwed this one up.
Let this be a lesson to corporate America. We're sick of this stuff, and we're tired of having to be silent about it. Yeah. We're not going to be silent about it anymore.
Hold on a sec. I'm going to get me a beer.
Yeah, she'll probably go get a Bud Light.
Yeah. Oh, she would.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Elizabeth.
It would be Bud Light for her.
Can I just tell you my own personal jihad against corporate America? I'm now aiming my personal fire at New Era caps. Baseball caps, because they have messed with my team, the Atlanta Braves, who used to hit a home run, and they had the celebration this year where you would get to the dugout and you'd wear the big hat. It was a giveaway there on opening night, and so they'd hit a home run. They go to the dugout. Can we put the pictures up? There we go. So there you go. You hit a home run. You get to wear the big hat. You just walk down the dugout, give high fives to everybody. Well, New Era saw that the Braves players weren't wearing the official New Era cap, official hat, on-field hat of Major League Baseball. Called the offices in New York, said, "Hey, the Braves aren't wearing our cap all the time. What's going on here?" And so MLB called the Braves and said, "You can't be doing the big hat thing anymore." I mean, that is absurd. That's ridiculous.
Not even for a few moments.
Not for a moment going through the dugout
home
to
run.
have fun. Are you kidding me? New Era should be selling those big hats in all 30 MLB stadiums, making a killing off of those hats. Instead, this is why people get upset at corporate America. You're so out of touch. You put the hammer down on something like this, and anyway, that's what's under my skin. I mean, the Bud Light thing's annoying too, but New Era caps.
That seems to incite more passion for you than the Bud Light thing.
Well, yeah, I just don't drink Bud Light, so I don't care. No, I don't know, man. Corporate America, you are completely out of touch, whether you're woke or just don't like people having fun.
Some corporate America now apparently feel like Mother's Day is too controversial too.
Oh, no.
So
is it named Bill? Top of that list? Caller Bill?
No, it's not Caller Bill.
2 days?
This one doesn't happen to be him.
Okay.
But for some reason, they've decided that Mother's Day is a sensitive time, a challenging time, or a difficult time. So they're inviting customers to opt out of emails that are related to triggering people on that day. So that's...
How about we just opt out of those emails in general?
I would like to opt out of all spam emails.
I don't care if it's Mother's Day related or not. I don't want it.
I try to block these things, and it just seems like the next day they've just changed to a different address, and a different name, and a different subject line, which I haven't blocked, and it just doesn't help anything.
Do you ever click the report spam button?
Report spam?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I should do that.
Yeah, you can report spam. You can unsubscribe. Which
I've tried that.
I often wonder if that
doesn't seem to work.
I think there's a bunch of corporate people that sit around and go, look, another person wants to be unsubscribed.
Nope. He thinks we really unsubscribe them. Yeah, that's adorable, isn't it? That's adorable. It's absolutely mind-numbing to me how much this transgender thing has changed our society. How much and how quickly?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you can't even talk about Mother's Day without offending somebody, because why? Because men who are trans women can't be mothers? Is that what it is? I don't even understand the problem. Doesn't everybody have a mother? I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure if you're on this planet, somewhere along the way, you had a mother.
Oh, but were you there for all these births?
No. I wasn't.
You weren't.
No, I wasn't.
So you don't really know.
No, it's true.
Okay.
I don't really know that for sure.
Oh, my gosh.
Because you can't be sure about anything anymore.
That's true.
Jeez.
That's true.
Except Steven Spielberg, did you see that he is speaking out on changing movies based on today's sensibilities? Even though in 2002, he changed E.T. because when the government agents were coming in to the house of, what was his name?
Elliot.
Elliot's.
Yep.
Yeah, Elliot's house. They had guns in 1982.
All right.
In 2002, he took the guns out of their hands and put walkie-talkies in their hands.
Yeah.
So that was for the 20th anniversary.
Bring the alien out or we'll call a trucker on our radio.
Right. Now, for the 30th anniversary, though, in 2012, he put the guns back in their hands.
Good.
Yeah. And so he said it was a big mistake for him to change it. He said no film should be revised based on the lenses we now are either voluntarily or being forced to peer through.
I love it.
That doesn't sound like Steven Spielberg.
Sure does not.
That's interesting.
Don't mess with my art.
I like that. He said E.T. was a film that I was sensitive to the fact that the federal agents were approaching kids with firearms exposed. And I thought I'd change the guns into walkie-talkies, which he did. Years went by and I changed my own views. And he said I should never have messed with the archive of my own work. And I don't recommend anybody really do that.
Good for him.
I know. All our movies are a kind of measuring, a signpost of where we were when we made them, what the world was like, and what the world was receiving when we got those stories out there. So I really regret having that out there. That's interesting. Does that then only apply to movies? Because it seems like lefties are fine with using today's standards to judge our founders by. In the 1700s, it seems like we judge them through that lens of what we're forced into today.
Right.
Doesn't it?
It sure does.
Huh.
It sure does.
I wonder if this will extend past the sacred movies these people make and don't want touched or messed with in any way, even by today's standards. But will we look at the founders in that same light?
Boy, you would hope, but no,
yeah, it's not. They're not going to. No. But I mean, this is a pretty big concession for Steven Spielberg, who's a pretty big lefty, to actually say that no film should be revised based on the lenses we now are either voluntarily or being forced to peer through.
Okay,
I like that.
Well, I mean, I assume he has some clout in the movie industry still, right?
I would assume so, yeah.
So why don't you take that message to Disney with Song of the South? Why don't you take that message to Gone with the Wind?
Yeah.
And whoever owns that, probably Ted Turner at this point. Hell, I don't know.
Probably.
But why don't you make sure that, this message gets heard? Because I like that. I appreciate it very much so.
One final thing for today. Oregon is trying to pass a right to rest act. What is that? Oh, no. Well, it would allow homeless people to put up tents on any public sidewalk they want to erect a tent on.
What city was this again?
It's the state of Oregon.
State of Oregon?
Yeah. An Oregon bill called Right to Rest Act would decriminalize camping in public places and give homeless people the ability to treat property like tents as private residences, even when they're on public sidewalks. Are you just trying to set fire to the rest of the state? I mean, Portland isn't bad enough yet.
Yeah, wouldn't you say Portland is a very lovely city?
Yeah. Portland, especially this time of year, is incredibly lovely.
This time of year?
Especially this time of year. Yeah. the station added that homeless people, the station KATU who's reporting this, homeless people can also sue for up to $1,000 if they are swept, told to relocate, or otherwise harassed in this bill.
Gosh.
So if you ask somebody to remove their tent from your sidewalk that's right in front of your business, you can be fined $1,000 for doing that.
What if you go up to the hobo and you say, hey, here's a bus ticket to Miami? Because I've always said that if I'm homeless, I'm going to Miami because then I can sleep outside 365 and not freeze to death.
Probably be okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But is that harassment now if I say,
Yes.
hey, here's a gift?
I'm sure it is. You're not supposed to mess with them. That's just absolute insanity.
You talk about Portland, you talk about committing suicide.
Again, yeah, it's a suicide pact. It's exactly what it is. And these people, who are camped outside these businesses are so oftentimes, most of the time, completely insane. They're stark raving mad. And it's okay that they're outside your business hassling your customers, maybe endangering their lives.
Why would you own a business in that town at all?
I don't know. Or that whole state now. It's going right down the tube. All right, we've got overtime coming up. Then we'll be back tomorrow, finish off the week.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.